Yeah, this is a little insight into the Essex boys. For people that don't really know the case, people abroad who might not know. Also known as the Range Rover murders, the Rettendon murders, the Essex boys murders, the Essex firm murders, which is basically back in 1995, guys, in Essex. I think it was the 6th of December. 3 drug dealers were lured, allegedly lured, to Workhouse Lane in Rettendon, where they were executed at point blank range. You had Tony Tucker sitting in the front. He got blasted all through the face. Then you had Craig Rolfe, who was the driver. He got blasted right behind, sort of from behind the ear, blew him away. Then you had Mr. Tate, Pat Tate, in the back, who took a few shots. They obviously wanted to word with him before they killed him, because he didn't get it straight in the brain like the other two. Obviously, you're going point blank to the head. You know what I mean? You're not going to get a response, are you? Yeah. So he got one in the belly, and then got a few more. So it's all a bit crazy, really, guys. But at the end of the day, them 3 men probably started off with good intentions in life. The drugs, the greed, the fucking coke, all the drugs, the steroids, all the shit they was on. And obviously you got the reason why they're in jail is you got the supergrass, Darren Nichols, which is just mind blowing when you think about it. He's in on the plan. He's a getaway driver. Yeah, he's gone sort of police prosecution, where he's got a new name and protection. But we'll talk a bit more about Darren Nichols and who he might be and where he might be a bit later on. But I thought I'd just make a short video just to introduce who the Essex boys were, for all my watchers that don't know about what I'm on about. You will know after I finish this video. Yeah, the Rettendon murders. Lots of people's names were thrown up. Obviously, you had the Leah Betts. Anyone remember the Leah Betts ecstasy incident? The girl from Latchingford in Essex who did a pill, and they tried to say she'd done a dodgy pill, but she didn't. She drank too much water and toxified her body. That's how poor Leah died. Bless her heart. She would have been a couple of years younger than me now, but still a grown lady who did a pill for her birthday and never came back, sadly. But lot surrounding this case, really. And it all boils down to the jury, the judge saying to the jury, you either believe the supergrass or you believe them. How can someone be fucking jailed, right, for evidence coming from a supergrass, a villain, that the only reason he's bubbled... What happened was Darren Nichols had a load of dope in the car. He got nicked with the dope, with a puff. And then that's when he's bubbled them all up, including himself, saying he's a driver. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But we'll go into whether them 2 men are guilty and that later. But it is a bit of a mad case, I must say. And obviously you've had the films, you've had the Sean Bean film, you've got Rise of the Foot Soldier, Colton Leach and all that, and the ICF, the West Ham firm, which I quite like the first film, guys. I ain't going to slate the whole fucking the whole lot. There's a story to be told, but I quite like Rise of the Foot Soldier, even though a lot of bits in that are bullshit. I still quite like following the Colton Leach side of it and what he got up to, because basically the Genesis raves, which he used to do the security for, that's what we used to go to. So I was at these raves where these gangsters was on the doors and selling the drugs in the raves. That's how I know about it. That's how I'm connected to that side of it. They used to also do the doors at Club UK in London. They did a few clubs. But that's when they just walked in and took over. And obviously, with the Essex boys, you've got lots of people now coming forward. You've got Nipper Ellis putting his hand up. My dad did it. And to be honest, Nipper, I put out of all them people telling their stories, there's only two people that I've seen on here telling the truth, and that's Nipper and Craig Rolfe's brother. If you go and look him up, he's doing a big video on here putting people straight. But yet he still didn't mention the fact that his brother murdered Whittaker. I hope that's in your book, mate. I hope that's in your book. He's making a book about his brother Craig's life, and in the film they portray him as the gopher when really he wasn't. But you still murdered Kevin Whittaker in a really sick manner and just rolled him out the car and dumped him. Do you know what I mean? That's the sort of characters they are. You don't do that, do you? Don't do that to your worst enemy. What was it, over a £2 bit of puff debt? You don't fucking... they jabbed him up, man. Jabbed him up with shit and just killed him. You don't do that over a £2 debt. Fucking... I don't know. Fucking hell. There's no work tonight, guys. Just dossing. I'm having a dossing night where I just doss. So I'm just getting my Rizzlers and that together. Tell you what, guys, I could quite easily just roll back over, go back to bed. Yeah, so allegedly, according to the supergrass, they were lured down that lane on the hope, well, in the belief that there was going to be a big deal, and so the film would have you believe it, like they'd been double crossed. I don't know the exact ins and outs of what exactly went on there, but to get shot up like that, you got to be doing right bad shit, ain't you? Treading on the wrong toes. And they were warned days before. You got what's called the Blundell family, Billy Blundell. They're quite a hard family. Do you know what I mean? Proper old school sort of villains. Do you know what I mean? Which is what I class myself as. I won't class myself as sort of one of these new ones. Very sort of old school villain with old school morals. And apparently he warned them a few days before. You're going to get shot on the plot, and they got shot on the plot. You also got Bernard O'Mahony. Anyone that watches the Essex Boys stuff probably know Bernie. He just talks shit. Bernie was never in any firm. he's just wrote a few books out of it. And to be honest with you, you ought to wind your neck in now, Bernie, because all the stuff you say just is bullshit. And to be honest, there was never even they sort of the Essex firm, the Essex boy. They weren't even called that. Do you know what I mean? They were just a bunch of fellas making a few quid selling drugs. They weren't actually called the firm or nothing like that. That's just all make believe for the film guys. That's just all film stuff. But all the stuff where in the Rise of the Foot Soldier, where you see Nipper trying to kill him and all that, that's all real. Do you know what I mean? If anyone had a good reason to kill him, it would be Nipper. Because Nipper's tried killing him. Nipper's shot him, you know what I mean, through the window in the bathroom. But Nipper's come on in the last 8 months and a year, something like that, did a video saying it's now time to say that his dad did it. His dad's died. His dad did it. And to be honest, I think his dad doing it is probably more plausible than the two in there, but we'll go into that at the end there. But because they threatened to cut off Nipper's sister's fingers. And obviously, if someone threatens to cut your daughter's fingers off, and you're moving in them circles, you ain't going to be having that, are you? You're going to be cutting their fucking fingers off, aren't you? Oh, that's the way I look at it. An eye for an eye. It's just crazy that all these years later, and one of the guys is out now. He served his time, but they all served extra time because none of them's ever admitted it. And what makes them look so shifty and puts the guilt definitely on them is when they were first nicked. You know what? They didn't say a word, man. All them years, all a couple of years on remand or whatever it was, didn't say a word till the court date. But then they said where they were, alibis. You would have said that straight away, mate, wouldn't you? Why would you shut up shop completely? I don't know. So all very like that, but there is no evidence, guys. There was no evidence whatsoever puts them two guys there. Even the cell site evidence has been re-examined and considered shaky in today's sort of terms. Let me just roll a spliff. Not smoked many today. I might give up soon. God, if I can open this bag. Yeah, this film franchise certainly did alright out of it. It's just a shame that the dead people's families, all the victims, I bet they never saw a penny. Pretty quiet tonight in Kent. Also, the forensics at the scene are very, very dodgy. I mean, it does look, to be honest with you, it does look for all intents and purposes as it's a police setup. And what I will say is the police were, which just makes it even more dodgy, the police were actually undergoing an operation at the time where they were monitoring a couple of them lads for drug smuggling on the boat, mixed steel. And they reckon that they stopped the surveillance the day of the killing. Is that a coincidence, or are they involved in the killing? Because you've got to think that Leah Betts, the Essex girl from Latchington who died, her dad was a copper. Well, it's her stepdad, really, I think, isn't it? Or was that her real dad? I don't know, but he's a copper anyway. And they reckon it might have sort of been retribution for that, but there's no evidence to say that. But then again, there's no evidence to say that the two that did it, that got convicted, actually did it. All you've got, right, is the supergrass's word. I don't think that should be admissible in court. I really don't. How can you believe? It makes a mockery of the court system, really, doesn't it? When they're believing a supergrass and a villain. You know what I mean? It makes the whole thing look just ridiculous. But that's what it boils down to, guys, in them sort of cases. Normally, you'd have a bit of evidence. You know what I mean? They've got no evidence on them. They've got a footprint which is the wrong size than any of them two. Obviously, you've got the theory that one of the killers took with them in it, and he got out the back and all that, and opened the gate. You got that. Do you know what I mean? Which, oh man. Oh, I don't know. But I think what you'll hear soon, you're going to hear some revelations, because you get what's called the Criminal Review Board. We've looked into that, and I think something's going to happen. Because one of them's out, one of the geezers has done his time, but obviously if you admit it, you get out after about 20 whatever years. But he did extra time because he didn't admit it, he never admitted his guilt, nor did the other geezer. The only reason that other geezer is still in there, and he's about 80, he's coming up for 80, I think, Mick Steele. The only reason he's still in there is because he's been sort of rebellious against the system. Whereas the other fella just shut his mouth and got his time done. Which wouldn't be me. If I'd been put in there for something I ain't done, I'd be quite rebellious too, wouldn't you? Think about that. But yeah, very strange. Very strange case. Apparently the police, they didn't do their job properly, Essex police, but there's been a few cases with Essex police where it's all just, they've been called into question. What was it, Jeremy Bamber, wasn't it? Jeremy Bamber, that house, what was it called? Something House. Not Bleak House. What was it called? Bleak House. He shot all his family up, his sister and his mum and dad and all that. But yeah. Corrupt police. Plenty of them. Corrupt people in every walk of life. And also, they found no weapons there. They found no weapons there when they had shooters and that. Do you know what I mean? So they've obviously gone down there with someone that they obviously completely and utterly trust. Because if you was going on a meet, right, at 2 in the morning or whatever, down some dark fucking country lane, you were mixing in them circles, I think I'd want to have something tucked away somewhere, just for security purposes, but they didn't. So for that, you've got to be so comfortable with that person you're meeting. It's got to be like one of your clan, one of your gang, you know what I mean? That's my perception on it. Let me know what you think. But personally, yeah, you'd have a tour or something, wouldn't you? You'd have something. And also, they had money, drugs on them, all that's still there. It wasn't a robbery. You know what I mean? All the stuff, if you was going to shoot them men and rob them, they wouldn't have nothing on them, would they? You'd have had it all away. still remember the day the news broke. Remember my old dad saying, "You seen the telly, boy?" I said, "Someone's upset someone, Dad." But that happened. Right. Got me large one. Anyway. Oh. I've lost my wallet today, guys. A bit of weed in it. I've just got it as well, but I've retraced my steps, right? I'm convinced it's in this house somewhere. That'll turn up and be a bonus. I'm about to freeze my bank cards. And buy more smoke. How about that? I'd buy more when there's some sitting there. In here somewhere. But I give up looking today. I thought, fuck that. That'll turn up and be a bonus, won't it? Anything I could do with my bank card. My bus pass is in there as well. But I'm going to have a look for that tomorrow. And I'll good sort out. Where's my old ashtray? There we go. Go now. Have a room. Watch my TV. I'm on a TV night. I'm on nothing but TV tonight. Fucking hell. Oh. Very quiet. This TV box. The TV box is hidden away behind there. It's not changing the channel. Where's my Vimto on the hard stuff today, guys? Anyway, guys, just a little insight into the Essex boys. I'll do another part tomorrow night where I'll tell you who did it and why I think they did it. And I think it's quite clear that they did do it. But at the end of the day, they were three nasty fucking pieces of work at the end of the day. I think they were decent people until they got on all the wrong tackle. And then the power went to their head, and do you know what I mean? They just go around taxing other dealers. You're going to do that, you're going to be walking a tightrope, aren't you? Anyway, whatever you're doing, have a good one. I'll be back tomorrow night with another chapter on this story. Um, hmm.